All right, now time to put down your wine glass and pick up your teacup because you can loosen your corset and take a breath. Bridgerton Season 2 begins this Friday, March 25th. You know, that Regency series based on novels by Seattle author Julia Quinn shares the romantic trials and tribulations of 8 Bridgerton children as they look for love in London's high society. The first season broke records for most watched on Netflix, and now the diverse cast is back, dripping with elegance, secrets, and great food, which inspired this book that I'm holding, this over-the-top Regency lifestyle. The chef and author Lex Taylor, he wrote the Unofficial Bridgerton Cookbook. What is the most Bridgerton thing you wanted to show us?
Well, okay, I want to show you the gooseberry pie because that is the sort of the epic dish from the show. And it's kind of a crazy dish because gooseberries are kind of a very obscure ingredient nowadays. They were very common back in the day.
So I'd never heard of gooseberry pie until they mentioned it was the Duke's favorite. So what is it?
So gooseberries are these tart little berries. They come in different colors. I found green ones.
They look like olives.
They look like mini olives. You took a green grape and you kind of like rehydrated it. That's the mouthfeel that you get. And so for my pie, what I did was I mixed it with apples and elderberry. Filling a whole pie with gooseberries is like really over the top. So I wanted to cut it with something a little sweeter that could kind of tame it down and also provide a little bit more texture because gooseberries just kind of get very soft.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's got some gold on it. And I got this beautiful little leaf mold.
So Lex, you're typically a barbecue guy. So I get the bacon. Tell me how you decided to start making a book about Bridgerton.
I do barbecue, I do a lot of curing, I do a lot of smoking, pickling, that kind of stuff. So that was always kind of like my wheelhouse, right? And then I got sort of approached to like put in a proposal for the Bridgerton book. And I was like, yeah, that's never going to work, but I'm going to put it in anyways, and I'm going to do my best. And it was always this sort of like, I don't know, getting the language just right and the sort of the snarky and the sarcasm and the sass, right? So
like lustful lobster.
Exactly. It has to be lustful. Otherwise it's just, you know, a freaking lobster, you know?
Exactly. So back to bacon. I see you've got a bunch of bacon there. You're just chopping it.
Right. So today's dish that I'm going to put together is the winning pig bacon bites. And there was a scene in Bridgerton where they need to choose which is going to be the sort of the winning pig. And so that's where I got the title from. It's kind of like a bacon-filled biscuit. You know, everybody will basically love it. Back in the day, they would make these really thick, almost inedible crusts that completely encased the food inside. And what that would do was it would preserve the meat. So that was sort of one of the original, like, you know, sailors and stuff would take these pies on like journeys because it would preserve them. And they would always, of course, fill it with like lard and butter and fats that would also help preserve everything back in the day.
That is fascinating.
Like sugar and heavy amounts of like brown butter and fats. But this bacon bite thing, it's pretty much fat and sugar. Get this nice golden glow. I put them in for about 20, 25 minutes. They just sort of break apart.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
I'm literally drooling right now. Those look so lovely, Lex.
I know, they're so good. This one actually has a lot of stuff in it. This one, let's see, this one's got a lot more in it. So,
okay. I am like literally drooling. So after we go super savory, you did say that there was a fresh dish that you thought was good to balance it. Let's talk about tomatoes.
Tomato tartare is a great way to go through a lot of tomatoes because it takes a lot of tomatoes to make it. The difference between like glorious victory and like utter failure with a tomato tartare is you got to remove all the moisture from the tomato. What I discovered actually, the best way is you cut a tomato in half and you use a lemon squeezer.
Oh.
Yeah, so you just put a half a tomato in there like it was a half a lemon, squeeze it into the sink or whatever, get the water out. You take out the leftover pulp and you chop it up real fine. And you want to keep it cold. So before you serve it, it's got to be, you know, refrigerator cold. So that's what I got here. The tomato tartare, then what you want to do is introduce a little bit of oil, just a little bit. And you could do like a salad dressing and you could serve this on a bed of greens and it's basically like a salad. What I love to do with this is just to add a little extra textural component is I like to toast up a little bit of rosemary.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, and when you do that, you get the rosemary infused olive oil. And so you can add that as your olive oil into the tomato.
And that's the Dandy's superb tomato tartare. I love it. And Lex had so many great ideas, and he shared with us all 3 of the recipes that he talked about, and you can find them on our website.